This is Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Welcome to another weekend of Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. It's our last semifinal match. Also, happy Star Wars weekend. Yeah, I know May the 4th was a few days ago, but we're still celebrating. After today, one of these teams will be celebrating an appearance in our finale. Who do you think it'll be? How about the Winnebago Indians? Let's have a round of applause for them. The Indians made it to this game with a pretty convincing performance in our final challenge in that last game that pulled them away from Keith Country Day. They were cruised to a 350-210 victory. That's just the power of the orange bow tie. That's what we're giving that credit for. Also, it was a history-making victory because this is the first time that Winnebago is making an appearance in our Final Four. Congratulations. Sam is the captain. Introduce us to your starting lineup, Sam.
On my right, I have Carson and Merrick, and on my left, I have Dylan.
Welcome to the Winnebago Indians taking on the Morrison Mustangs. Morrison, this is a pretty impressive stat. One game away from a repeat appearance in our finale. That was because of the 230 to 180 point victory over Christian Life. Zayden led the way with 6 correct buzz-ins. If you stretched out your buzz-in finger, are you ready to go this week, Zayden? Nice. You don't want to pull a muscle in there because then you'd be out for the rest of the game and got to bring us up. We don't want to deal with that. Take you out on a stretcher. It's happened before. Introduce us to your starting lineup, Zayden.
On my right is Mark, on my far left is Nara, and in my near left is Rowan.
All right, welcome and good luck. This is the second time these two teams have faced each other. The other time was 3 years ago. Mustangs got the better of the Indians, 280 to 200, en route to that Season 6 finale that we just talked about. Hands on your buzzers, contestants, for our first round of the game. The two most important rules: wait for me to call your name before you answer, and say that answer loudly and clearly. Good luck. A seat in our championship game is on the line. Here we go. What show in which residents of the Arconia create a true crime podcast is a Hulu series? Nara.
Only Murders in the Building.
You got it. It stars Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez. What novel opens during the summer they electrocuted the Rosenbergs? Sam.
Bell Jar.
Yes, centers on Esther Greenwood, who gets shock treatments and is by Sylvia Plath. What term, which comes from the German for young lord, identifies the rank of Prussian nobles who derived their power from their vast land holdings? Merrick.
Junker.
Yes, that is correct. Also, for my fellow plane nerds, that's the name of a German aircraft company. 2 in a row for Winnebago. In 2022, what first woman to hold the title of Lord Chancellor won a leadership election over Rishi Sunak to become Britain's new Prime Minister? Sam.
May.
Incorrect. Morrison, you could take these points. Go ahead, Rowan.
Liz Truss.
You got it. She was only PM for 6 weeks. Those points tie the game. What mammal with scientific name Megaptera novaangli is known for its intricate, deep-pitched songs, which can last for more than an hour? Nara.
Whales.
Can you be more specific?
Blue whales.
Incorrect. Winnebago. Dylan.
Humpback whales.
Humpback whale. That is correct. What battles in which militia defended Northbridge from Thomas Gage? Merrick?
Lexington and Concord.
That's correct. Began with a shot heard around the world and started the Revolutionary War. What Caribbean island, whose town of Codrington was evacuated following Hurricane Irma in 2017, forms a nation along with Antigua? Sam.
Martinique.
Incorrect. Morrison. Zayden.
Dominican Republic.
Incorrect. Barbuda. What 2012 novel, which depicts a visit to the Anne Frank house where a first kiss is shared by Gus Waters and Hazel Lancaster, is by John Green? Nara.
Fault in Our Stars.
That's right. Also a 2014 movie starring Shailene Woodley. What language, whose dialects include East Midlands, was used in the 14th century to write Sir Gawain the Green Knight and Sam?
Old English.
Incorrect. And the Canterbury Tales? Nara.
Middle English.
Middle English. We are now tied. What color names a type of object described by Planck's law and the Stefan Boltzmann law, which is a type of body that, Sam?
Black.
That's correct, that absorbs all incident radiation. What group, which tarred and feathered John Malcolm in 1774, organized... Merrick. Buzzer got you. I'll finish for Morrison. Organized the Boston Tea Party under Samuel Adams and opposed taxes in colonial America. Zayden.
Sons of Liberty.
You got it. Hercules Mulligan was a member, and there is your weekly Hamilton reference. Morrison, you're up to 50 points now. In what city did Nuri Martinez resign as city council president in October 2022 after audio leaked of racist remarks she made? Sam.
New York.
Incorrect. Morrison? Go ahead, Zayden.
Richmond, Virginia.
Incorrect. Los Angeles, California. What company, which canceled the stablecoin Diem, owns Reality Labs, which makes the virtual reality technology Oculus? Carson?
Meta.
That's correct, and is led by Mark Zuckerberg. You get those points. That's how we end the round, with you on top by those 10, Winnebago. We're a pretty close game, which is kind of how we hope a semifinal game to be. 60 points for Winnebago, 50 for Morrison. 3 more rounds to play. The next one is called volleyball, and it's right after this break. We'll see you then. One round into this semifinal game to see who will go to our championship. Will it be Winnebago or Morrison? We'll find out after a little bit more gameplay. First, before we get to our volleyball round, a special thank you to our judge. The last time you saw her on television might have been when we surprised her live in her classroom, giving her her golden apple, and she handled it like a champ. That's Addie Wilson. She is our judge today. So Addie, congrats on your golden apple, and thank you for being our judge. All right, let's get to our volleyball round. It's a conferring round, so work as a team, contestants. And because he disrespected the coin, Sam gets first volleyball question. He and the Winnebago Indians. Are you ready for your first question this round, Sam?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. What man was the subject of Proclamation 4311, issued by President Gerald Ford in 1974, to pardon him for any crimes he committed while president?
Oh, yeah, so it's just Nixon.
Nixon.
Yes, that seemed like a good conferring group effort there. It was Nixon. All that was because of the Watergate scandal. Morrison, here's your first question of this round. What Polynesian culture hero lassoed and beat the sun, forcing it to slow down and allowing humans to thrive?
Maui.
That's right. Dwayne Johnson provided his voice in the movie Moana. Back to Winnebago. What author wrote about a strike at a coal mine in his novel Germinal and published an 1898 open letter defending Alfred Dreyfus titled J'accuse?
Zola.
Zola is right. Emile Zola. You should know it. Morrison. What 4-letter word is defined as an individual prong on the end of a pitchfork or dinner fork? Isn't that weird? We see them every day. Probably don't know what they are called. They are tines. T-I-N-E. Tine. Back to Winnebago. What game franchise, the origin of the Super Smash Bros. Fighter Isabelle, had a 2020 release subtitled New Horizons and centers on cute villagers?
Animal Crossing.
You guys all knew that one really quickly. Those are your points. We'll move on now to a new one for Morrison. What type of animal does the elderly Kate give to Dave Mitchell in an Emily Cheney Neville young adult novel whose title begins, "It's like this"?
Dog.
It's probably a solid guess and a 50-50 chance. You got the other side of that 50-50. The title of the book is It's Like This. Cat. Cat was the animal. Back to Winnebago. What planet has natural satellites discovered by Asaph Hall in 1877 named Phobos and Deimos, is the outermost terrestrial planet and appears red?
Mars.
Yes, it is known as the red planet too. If those moons weren't a big enough clue for you, you're in triple digits. Back over to Morrison. What principle named for a Swiss physicist states a rise in a fluid's speed corresponds to a drop in its potential energy or static pressure?
Bernoulli.
You got it. It's part of what explains why airplanes fly. Bernoulli's principle. What recurring event took place during a truce known as the Echoria, which protected the city of Elis and this event's athletes every 4 years?
Oh, Olympic Games?
Yeah.
Or is it marathon or Olympics? Olympics?
Yes, you got it. And good job conferring, too. You came up with that consensus. The next games are in 2024 in Paris. Back to Morrison. What founder of the American Fur Company became the first U.S. multimillionaire and names a major neighborhood in Queens? A New York City hotel also has his name. That neighborhood is Astoria. That was John Jacob Astor. That was the first U.S. multimillionaire, and that's how we end the round. So Winnebago is up to 110. Morrison has 70 halfway through our game. Halfway means you get a chance to play at home with the Bergstrom bonus question. We'll be right back with the answer.
Originally called Lexico, what crossword-style word game is played on a 15 by 15 grid of squares and is manufactured by Hasbro?
Halftime of an episode of Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl means it's time for our Bergstrom bonus question. Hands on your buzzers, contestants. Let me know if you know the answer to this. If you're watching at home, you already heard the question. We'll see how smart you are at home compared to our contestants. You ready? Originally called Lexico, what crossword-style word game is played on a 15 by 15 grid of squares? Sam?
Scrabble.
You got it. And it's manufactured by Hasbro. Yes. Scrabble actually was inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame in 2004. All right, quick math. 15 by 15. How many squares is that?
225.
225. Carson, you get, I don't know, an extra piece of bread or something when you go and have that pizza party over at Lino's. Congratulations. Nice work there. We're going to come back with our Nika IBEW lightning round where these scores could change very quickly. It's right after this break. We're about to start our Nika IBEW lightning round, and you just saw with their multiplying orange bow ties, maybe Winnebago win our Bergstrom bonus question. Now we switch over to questions worth more points, and there's a lot of points on the line in the Nika IBEW lightning round. 100 if you run a category. No one's done it yet so far this season, which is kind of rare. Because of the flip, Zayden, you and Morrison get first pick. So these are your three categories this week: rocks, paintings, or American landmarks.
Landmarks. We'll take landmarks.
Okay. Give the state in which these U.S. landmarks are located. So the clock will start with 60 seconds. Remember, you can pass. And then, Sam, you and the team will have 30 seconds to get to what they don't. 100 points on the line if you run the category. Zayden, are you ready for the first one? And remember, you can work as a team, but I have to get the answers from these captains, from each of the captains. Give the state in which these U.S. landmarks are located. Mount Rushmore.
South Dakota.
Correct. Times Square.
New York.
Correct. Gateway Arch.
California.
Incorrect. Glacier National Park.
Montana.
Correct. Diamond Head.
Pass.
Abraham Lincoln's birthplace.
Kentucky.
Correct. Falling Water, a house designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Wisconsin.
Incorrect. Lake Itasca, the headwaters of the Mississippi River.
Minnesota.
Correct. Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Martin Luther King was a pastor.
Alabama.
Incorrect. The Biltmore, the country's largest privately owned house.
Virginia.
Incorrect. Diamond Head.
Arizona.
That's incorrect, and that was the last one that you passed on that we could go back to. You got half of them right. You're up to 120. So there's 5 left, Sam, for you and Winnebago. You'll have 30 seconds for them. Are you ready for your first one? Okay. Give the state in which these U.S. landmarks are located. Gateway Arch.
Missouri.
That's correct. Diamond Head.
Arizona.
Incorrect. Falling Water, a house designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Washington.
Incorrect.
I'm sorry.
Ebenezer Baptist Church.
Georgia.
That's correct. The Biltmore, the country's largest privately owned house.
California.
Incorrect. So you got 2 of those 5. There's nothing to pass to go back to. These are the 3 no one got. Diamond Head is in Hawaii. Falling Water, the house designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, just southeast of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. And the Biltmore, the country's largest privately owned house, is North Carolina. So Winnebago, you are still on top by 10 points. And Sam, these are the 2 categories left for you to pick from: rocks or paintings?
Oh, paintings. Paintings.
All right, so basically this is a fill in the blank. Give the missing English language word that completes the title of these paintings. So I will say, this is information for both teams, I will say the title and the word blank. You're filling in the blank, literally, for these paintings. Are you ready for your first one? 60 seconds is on the clock.
Yes.
Here we go, Sam. Give the missing English language word that completes the title of these paintings. Vincent van Gogh's The Starry Blank.
Night.
Correct. Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Blank.
Supper.
Correct. Salvador Dali's The Persistence of Blank.
Memory.
Correct. Michelangelo's The Creation of Blank.
Like Eden or like
Adam.
Correct. Grant Wood's American Blank.
Gothic.
Correct. Johannes Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Blank.
Earring.
Correct. Raphael's The School of Blank.
Athens.
Correct. Emanuel Leutz's Washington Crossing the Blank.
Delaware.
Correct. Hieronymus Bosch's The Garden of Earthly Blank.
Delights.
Correct. Eugene Delacroix's Liberty Leading the Blank.
People.
That's correct, and that's the category. First time all season. I don't think we've ever had to wait this long in a season for a team to run the category. So we make it to the semifinals. Congrats, that added 100 points to your score. You are up to 230. That is a big boost. There's Zayden, there's nothing to go back to for you guys. We're going to take a break and come back with our final challenge. 110 points seems like a big gap, but with each question worth 20 points, that gap could close very quickly. We'll see what happens after this break. One more round to play this weekend to see who's going to the championship. Will it be Winnebago? They've got a pretty good head start as we head into this last round. 230 points against Morrison's 120. Hands on your buzzers, contestants. Again, the two most important rules. Wait for me to call your name before you answer. Say that answer loudly and clearly. Good luck, contestants. We'll see who's going on to the finale after this. Here we go. What peak in the principal Cordillera of the Andes is the highest mountain in the Western Hemisphere? Merrick.
Machu Picchu.
Incorrect. Morrison, you could take these points. Rockford's Ed Viesters actually led a group up to this top of this mountain back in January, Mount Aconcagua. New question. What unhappy character who has an affair with Tanis Judique while serving as her realtor in Zenith titles a 1922 novel by Sinclair Lewis? Sam.
Babbitt.
You got it. First points of the round to Winnebago. In 2022, Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba took power in what African country but was deposed 8 months later? Carson.
Tunisia.
Incorrect. I will finish for Morrison. After a coup in Ouagadougou. That was Burkina Faso. What country whose Troll Tongue rock formation is southeast of Bergen is home to a museum? Merrick?
Norway.
Yes, dedicated to Edvard Munch in its capital of Oslo. Snowbound is a long poem by what author? Sam?
Whittier.
Yes, who wrote about a woman imploring Confederate soldiers to spare your country's flag in Barbara Frietchie. What kingdom whose Impi soldiers crushed a British army at 1879's Battle of Isandlwana?
Zulu.
Merrick? Say that again, Merrick.
Zulu.
You got it. What six-letter term refers to the set of values for which a function is defined, which is often contrasted with the function's range? Dylan.
Domain.
That's also correct. Which endocrine gland lies in the sella turcica, produces oxytocin, vasopressin, and human growth hormone, and is sometimes called the master gland? Dylan.
Pituitary.
You got it, right before the buzzer. What author called nature red in tooth and claw? Sam.
Tennyson.
That's right, in his poem In Memoriam AHH. What Chinese admiral led expeditions to Sri Lanka, India? Merrick.
Zheng He.
That's correct, in East Africa under the Ming Dynasty. Franz Schubert wrote little and great symphonies in what major key, which is the relative major of A minor? Sam.
G.
Incorrect. Morrison. Rowan.
C major.
You got it, C major. What man who wrote a 1784 essay that asked the question, what is enlightenment, was a German philosopher who wrote the Critique of Pure Reason? Sam.
Kant.
That's right, Immanuel Kant. And that's how we end the round, with Winnebago pushing their score above 400, one of the highest scores so far this season. Winnebago, you are moving on to the championship. Maybe it was the bow tie power again. Congratulations. First time in the Final Four, first time in our championship game. Morrison, solid performance. Again, it's always better to win, right? But you made it very far in this tournament. You know how hard it is to do that. We're saying goodbye, but we get to see you one more time because not only are you playing in the consolation game, but also Zayden and Rowan, we will see you in our All-Star game next week. Sam too, right? Next weekend, we'll see them in the All-Star game. It's one of our favorites. Hope you enjoy it and hope you can join us next weekend for Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl.